Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today's webinar is brought to you by Silvertech. This webinar is Transforming Your Marketing Strategy with CTV Advertising. I am Erin Presso, VP of Marketing, and I'm going to take you through a short webinar that basically gives you the basis of what you need in terms of CTV advertising knowledge to get started, the foundational knowledge to understand how to use it in your media mix. So we're going to talk a little bit about what it is, provide the definitions. There are a lot of acronyms in this industry. We'll also talk about some of the high-level benefits of advertising with CTV. We'll talk about some of your targeting options, which are a little bit different than traditional TV. We'll talk about using CTV as part of your media mix, and then we'll give you some recommendations on how to get started. Let's start with the definitions. There are a lot of acronyms here, and it can get very confusing, but I like to think of it in two ways. Basically, OTT, or over the top, refers to the delivery of video content, on-demand video content, basically. So you've probably all seen this content on platforms like Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube. It can be consumed by any device that supports a web browser and has a screen interface. So a smart TV, a iPhone, a tablet, anything, or video game, anything that can support a kiosk video content, that is considered over the top media. Connected TV is a subset of that, and that's anything that can be displayed on a actual device, a TV device. So that could be a smart TV screen. It could be something that's screen enabled, TV screen enabled, like a Chromecast, a Fire Stick, an Apple TV, or it could even be a game console like an Xbox or a PlayStation. And then linear TV is more of the traditional broadcast TV for the masses, where the programming is pre-scheduled, and you typically have to purchase a subscription of either cable or satellite TV services. So CTV and OTT, as you hear them more and more, especially in the digital marketing world, they're growing substantially. The media landscape is undergoing a significant transformation, with the traditional TV viewership declining and, streaming services just completely booming. Over 1 billion people worldwide are using the OTT platforms, and streaming services like Netflix and Disney Plus have, millions of subscribers. This growth is fueled primarily by the desire for, more on-demand personalized content that's shareable. Consumers are 39% more likely to share content if it's delivered through video. So for advertisers, you can see that's a major advantage. This rapid growth doesn't come without challenges for the consumer, though, including, with all the rapid changes in the industry, there are new players, lots of diversification. On the consumer side, this causes them to, have a little bit more of, they have to subscribe to multiple streaming experiences or services to get all of their favorite content, so they might have to subscribe to one channel for sports and another channel for entertainment, and a third channel for some of their hobby type content or their, their personal preference type content. Plus, all of this is obviously based on technology, internet-enabled technology in order to view this. And so some of the older generations also find it a challenge to really consume lots of different types of OTT content. So let's talk also about who's using CTV, because I mentioned some of the older users and some of the younger users. CTV is still, primarily being driven by the younger generations, so Gen Z and millennials. That's changing, obviously, with each year that goes by. It's estimated that on average, U.S. adults spend 3 hours a day watching CTV. To me, that seems low. If you have any younger generations in your household, you'll say, wow, only 3 hours a day. It seems like they're on that all the time. But that's just for CTV. So that's a TV device. However, if you include their iPhone, which they're probably watching online videos and TikToks, etc., if you combine CTV and online video, we're already surpassing the number of hours that a consumer or a household watches content versus linear TV. And you'll see that continuing to change as years go on. Again, why? Because this is highly targeted. You can, share this content. So there are a lot of advantages, which we'll get into in a little bit here in this webinar. Over 73% of US households stream content, and CTV viewing has increased 21% in May of 2023 compared to May of 2022. And obviously that's a double-digit increase in 1 year. Which is amazing. So it's obviously a mainstream media. Even though it feels like it cropped up just recently, this is a mainstream media that's going to continue to, be part of our media mix going forward. So let's talk about the benefits of CTV advertising. There are a lot of benefits of this type of advertising. And as with anything, there are pros and cons, but let's talk about the benefits first. So really the primary benefit is targeting. CTV advertising allows you to deliver what appears to be, a quality video content advertising experience on the large screen of a TV monitor, but in a hyper-targeted fashion. So as compared to linear TV, you can target CTV advertising to users based on demographics, preferences and interests, behavior. So it's really much more of a personalized approach. Also there's a growing segment of users in the US and around the world that do not want to subscribe to traditional cable or satellite subscription services anymore. They're called cord cutters, and basically they just like to stream on-demand media. So they don't, necessarily pay for some of those cable packages, but they're still getting their content. So this is a whole segment of users that if you didn't do linear advertising or CTV advertising, you wouldn't be able to reach them. So CTV allows you to reach those who wouldn't be reachable through traditional channel, such as linear. It also allows you to put advertisers in front of the right customers at the right times. And again, that's kind of using your basic personalization practices, which is one of the huge benefits of CTV. Also the ability to cross-target consumers on different devices. The nice thing about CTV and when you're using shareable content is that this content often can be interactive, it can be shareable, it can be, you can have somebody go from watching your TV, you can provide a website address, you can ask them to register, there's lots of different, when you have an internet-enabled device and you have on-demand content, you can be promoting an event that happens this weekend that you can ask people to register for, so they can go from watching your TV commercial to online, and next week that ad could be something else. So it's much more targeted, and you can, move users and their experience. You can cross promote from device to device. So let's talk about targeting options now. CTV and OTT advertising is very different than linear TV advertising. So basically with CTV and OTT advertising, what you're delivering is personalized advertising. For example, you can have ads that only target people who have previously purchased within a certain time frame. Or you can have an ad that targets somebody who has, watched more than 8 hours of financial news in the last week. I mean, it's very, very detailed. You can, the targeting options, they can combine first, second, and third party data. So your options are near endless. Ad content can be tailored to individual viewer preferences, which creates a more engaging, experience. So behavioral targeting, you can target people who have been on your website for the last 2 years. Not only that, but you can also then retarget and remarket to them once they take action on one of your ads. you can do more data-driven targeting, based on data sets that you have either from second or third parties, whether it be, people who have a certain credit score or almost anything. And it's very, very precise targeting. So obviously, when you have precise targeting and you also have a digital medium, which is trackable, that means that you can calculate ROI, which is very, very valuable to marketers. Here's a snapshot of just some of the connected TV channels. So you not only have CTV is basically a device, but then you also have you have platforms and channels and apps for streaming services. So the technology and the terminology can get confusing. So OTT, I like to think of as content. CTV, I like to think of as TV devices that we serve that content on. And then you have all of the streaming platforms and services, as you can see here, and this is just a small snapshot of them. So how do you use CTV in your media mix? So although you would never use just one type of media, typically you want to diversify your media mix. CTV really can be used as a full funnel media strategy, depending on the types of ads that you put out there, whether or not they're actionable, what the next step in the decision-making process would be for your consumers. And the reason for that is because not only can you use them for driving awareness, top of funnel, you could have videos that are general branding videos that would drive awareness, but you can also, because this is a digital channel, because it is interactive, you can use links and clicks and other strategies to drive actionable content that also can be measured, and then you can retarget those folks who take action. So you really can utilize CTV in a full funnel media strategy. Yes, the creative would need to be well thought out and well planned, but we often see CTV being used as a full media strategy rather than just top of funnel, which is generally linear TV was used as top of funnel. And that's because also the long, to create and distribute a linear TV ad has a lot of lead time, where CTV ads and CTV content literally can be created one day, launched, and changed the next day. So that's another advantage. CTV works well to complement other media channels. Just as I had mentioned, you can go from running an ad and having somebody take action on a website, vice versa. So CTV really works to kind of pull people through those different channels that everybody uses on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So CTV, although the cost per 1,000 impressions can be more expensive than linear TV, believe it or not, the value is definitely there because, again, you can be hyper targeted and it can be measured. So depending on how you calculate ROI, CTV is definitely a budget friendly alternative and it will have, it can show you a better ROI than linear TV. It gives marketers the ability to leverage video ads, to reach cord cutters and those who don't have, a cable package. But also, I think the other way to use it is just to repurpose your creative, because, a linear TV ad requires, a production crew and a production crew size budget, where CTV ads, really you can be as creative as you can be. You can reuse other video content that you've created even with your iPhone. So although of course you want your ads to be quality, they do not have to be these mass production, expensive, type pieces of content. So here's a couple examples of the types of ads found on CTV. They're not all video. Some can be, local ads, like geographically targeted ads, of course. Some can be pre-rolls, such as these videos I'm sure you've seen on YouTube, that before your content actually starts running, you have the little ad that pops up. And this in this case, this is State Farm, and they have a 13-second pre-roll ad here that's playing before the content. Also branded entertainment ads, which is a collaboration between the streaming platforms. There's lots of different types. Interactive ads, which, if you are using a smart TV or, you're watching this on an internet-enabled device, you can, click and interact with it. And then bumper ads, so ads that show, before after content. Again, most times they're video, but they don't always have to be video, which also allows you to be flexible. So finally, let's talk about how to get started with CTV. Obviously, it can be, kind of overwhelming for some. But a lot of times you would start the same way you would start with any media strategy, where you would outline the goals for your campaign. So overall, what are you trying to achieve? What do you want your audience to do or take action on? And how will you ultimately measure your campaign success? So are you going to measure that with form conversions or, customer conversions or purchase revenue, etc. So you need to first figure out how you're going to, what this campaign's outcome is supposed to be. Then you have to look at your audience, obviously, because the next thing is to figure out who are you targeting. So first take a look at your current customer. Obviously, if you want to target somebody that looks like your current customer, take a look at the data that you have, look at what their demographics are, what common denominators there is with your data, and then you add on to that the data that you're missing in terms of the exact audience that you want to target. So do they have certain interests? Would they have certain behaviors? Behaviors being like maybe they purchased something or downloaded something, or maybe they haven't done. I mean, a behavior could be a have done or haven't done type scenario. So then you start to layer on those other factors that maybe you don't have data on, but that would better allow you to find the right folks to meet your goal. After that, typically what we recommend is taking a look at what your competition is doing, because you really want to see where your competition is advertising for sure, but really you want to make sure that you want to stand out. So you're evaluating the competitors, but not because you want to copy what they're doing. You're evaluating the competitors to first see, like, okay, is this, do I want these CTV ads to run on, these, streaming networks, or do I want to stay away from those because my competitors are, the competition is saturated there. So really it's all about standing out. So taking a look to see if they're there, taking a look to see what type of creative and messaging they're displaying, and then, coming up with some thoughts on, okay, well, if they're there, should I be there also? And if they're there and I do want to be there, how am I going to stand out? Obviously, determining a budget, you have to have some sense, I believe, of budget. Well, I guess there's two ways you could go. First, you could choose your audience and, work with a partner to come up with a budget, so a cost, a media cost. But usually when we work with clients, we like to have an idea of, what percentage of their total media budget do they want to first, kind of test CTV with. And so we work with them just to understand, okay, what are the kind of the parameters or the guideposts that we have? And then based on that, we take a look at which placements and content types and things like that, because there are ways to maximize any budget. So it's really important that you, and it's also important that you understand that it should be a test initially until, like any other digital channel. The nice thing about CTV is it is a digital channel, and you can put ads out there, put a campaign out there as a test, and then optimize, and then roll out. So again, that should factor into your budget. So CTV can be expensive, but they also have a great complete view rate on average of 95%, which is amazing. So, unlike linear TV ads where, people can skip those ads, etc. A lot of the CTV ads, although they are more costly, most times in linear TV, they have a higher complete average. So most CTV ads are priced based on cost per 1,000 impressions, which is similar to linear TV. And in 2023, I think, they said the average CPM was $30 plus, where linear TV has gotten down to, I don't know, about $15 or $16 plus. But don't forget, with linear TV, you can't necessarily measure as accurately and using, great data points as you can with CTV. So outcome measurement is a huge advantage for CTV and easily can be worth the cost. Plus with it, on top of that, there's less media waste because you're also, hyper targeting and creating personalized targeting. So content creation would be next. Think about how, what type of content are you going to need? And it's typically not one video or one 15-second or 1 2-minute or one, banner ad. It's usually a combination of those things, which is great because as a digital medium, again, you can create those ads very, very quickly. You don't need a whole production crew. And they can be delivered in different formats that are optimized for the device they'll be delivered on so that consumers can really engage with the different content. Again, look at the content that you have, because a lot of times we find content that clients can reuse. And we encourage clients to make it actionable or interactive where possible. Then you need to look at your distribution channels. And this is where clients typically need our help. Certainly as a full service digital agency, we're happy to help clients with all aspects of their campaign planning and creative. But typically clients are definitely overwhelmed by all the different distribution channels and the way this media can actually be purchased. So, there's different ways you can go to each platform and social channel manually. Obviously, that's very time consuming. Not only that, but you then have to take all of that data that those individual channels and platforms will give you and tie it together for reporting that makes sense. Or you can do a programmatic media buy, which is a buy that we can also help you with, that basically distributes amongst a variety of networks and things that meet your targeting criteria. Also, again, I'm just going to mention, because it's so important, is to run tests and optimize. You don't want to kind of put all your eggs in one basket in that initial launch. You want to, again, leverage the fact that this is a digital channel and you can change things at, on a dime. So run tests and optimize. Run tests, look at the data, optimize. And then, of course, in terms of buying the media, obviously there are some advantages to leveraging the buying power of a digital partner if you can. Typically there are special discounts and negotiations that have happened based on, total media spend from the agencies, et cetera, that can give you a huge advantage as you go to, purchase your spots and deliver your campaigns. So obviously there are some pros and cons when using CTV advertising. I hope this presentation kind of gave you the basics and just allowed you to understand the differences between them, what some of the benefits are, and kind of how to get started. Our company is happy to help any way we can in terms of answering additional questions, providing you with some ideas, and pointing you in the right direction, or even if you needed a full campaign strategy. So I appreciate all your time today. Thank you very much for watching and hope to speak to you soon.